Glyos. It's a universal peg and socket system letting independent toy producers create fun and inventive figures with totally interchangeable parts. This week, I'm going to tell you about some of my favorite producers of these toys. During his quest to acquire the rights to one of his favorite 80s toys, John Kent had the chance to obtain the rights to another forgotten toy line. Where it couldn't work at mass retail, he saw potential as a designer toy. Thus we have the brand new Robo Force. If you don't remember, Robo Force is an 80s line of retro robot toys that uses tricks with air pressure for its gimmicks. The bottom is an effective suction cup, and a pump on the back makes the arms crush in a very friendly, harmless way. The new Robo Force doesn't have such tricks since, of course, the gimmick now is buildable parts. Right now, we're looking at the new hun-dredd the Conqueror, sporting solid metallic red from dome to hover unit. Naturally, it's all solid PVC now, some of the most solid and chunky I've ever seen in a Glyos line. At 3.5 inches tall and 3 inches wide at the shoulders, this is easily one of the bulkiest Glyos toys too. But wait, because that hover unit hides a secret. Straighten it up, and behold! hun-dredd has evolved the ability to walk on land. No longer must he fear stairs. And now at 4.5 inches tall, he towers over any other standard Glyos figure. That's also thanks to a healthy part count of 41 components. Articulation varies depending on build, but generally comes in around 16 swivel points, most in the arms, and with the legs extended, bumps it up to 22. These tend to be more expressive than some Glyos toys due to how many parts make up the arms and the angles some of the parts are in. But again, depends on configuration, and Robo Force has a lot of configurations. Meet the new Sentinel the Protector in Ultra Silver PVC. It's a vastly different build, using the toy's tank treads, which seems a more apt replacement for the suction cups of the old toys. The arms are now massive heavy cannons, because when your title is Protector, you need firepower that could lay waste to small nations strapped to your shoulders. Now, you might notice Sentinel's head is obviously the same component making hun-dredd's chest. That's the beauty of the new Robo Force line. Every set comes with the same components and are capable of recreating the official builds. Here's the metallic black Battlestar release, rebuilt into Max Zero. Yeah. There's usually parts left over, but it's no big issue. I love that every set has all the parts to build the different characters in their modern looks. Though I do know what you're thinking. This is awful monochrome so far. Where's the color? Well, if you've got these three, there's plenty of color swapping to do. Enough so you can make the modern, classic color hun-dredd. And the two versions look awesome together. But other releases came with more colors and more parts, no less. Here's John's take on Enemy the Dictator, who has swapped his pale colors of the 80s for Mega Man-esque shades of blue, which is kinda why I love it. It also packs 53 parts in total, giving even more build options. Having these guys makes it possible to build a whole army of past Robo Force characters, myself building Blazer the Igniter and Cruel the Detonator. Now the downside to these huge part counts and bulky builds. Robo Force is one of the pricier Glyos lines, with even a basic figure running $16, and DX releases like Vanguard the Warrior going up to $30. That is kind of a lot for a toy that's only a few inches tall, but there's an advantage these have to other Glyos lines. With most series, it takes a lot of figures and parts to create things beyond their original intended shape. Having only a couple figures usually means only beefing up the humanoid build. Robo Force's unique aesthetic has an advantage though, with parts that break down into such basic shapes, tank treads and faux hinged parts, plus lots of detail bits. A couple Robo Force toys can form very inhumanoid things. Check out this tank I made a while back from just 2 figures. The core parts are loaded with ports too, so there's a lot of room for adjustment and improvisation. It's something that'll appeal to the Transformer fans in my audience. It's easy to find vehicle modes for these components, and best part is, it's your choice what the vehicle is. That's the fun of Glyos, and if you doubt its power, let's try another classic 80s robot character, as I combine just one Robo Force Sentinel with one of O'Nell's advanced Phasions. Now how awesome is that? There's no cheating here, all parts are from just those 2 figures. Oh, I could use some of O'Nell's axis or swing joints to improve it further, articulate him, or borrow other parts to make it more color accurate, but I loved the challenge of building Johnny 5 from just a limited pool of parts, and it came out so good. And it's just 2 toys that created this. O'Nell's robots meet Robo Force's color schemes often. Imagine who else you could make with even more to work with. Collectors like Robo Force for its unique, heavy parts most Glyos figures lack, and the options it opens up for larger builds, even vehicles for standard toys. As I said, newbies are going to hesitate at the price point these are set at, but I honestly feel they make themselves worth the asking cost. There's so much to do with these little guys, you could stay busy for days on just a couple of them, and the more familiar robot aesthetic is going to let fans of Transformers and the like ease into Glyos a little bit easier. John's also thinking about the future to up the retro factor. He recently held a pre-order, a rarity for Glyos, for a new line of Max Zeros, which includes the Ultimate Max Zero, a beast of a build with over 100 paint apps. It was a pre-order only toy, never to hit the shop again, and if you want any future releases like this, you gotta keep an eye out on these action robot figures. So now that we've returned from our trip to the 80s, let's debrief with some extra credit. If you check Wikipedia's page on Mattel, at least as of 2014, it'll list the company having 28,000 employees. That's a lot of people making sure that Barbie doll makes it to a Walmart. Inversely, Glyos companies are much smaller, and by much, I mean single digits. Some groups like Spy Monkey and Toyfinity number only a handful of people. Even O'Nell, long as they've been at it, is a family-run operation. Then there's some like God Beast, which is basically a one-man operation. Marty handles everything, from sketch to sculpt to dealing with the factory. His website's about the only thing he didn't make himself. Knee Stuff is another one-man toy company, doing absolutely everything solo. It's kind of an amazing thing to think that it's possible for a single person to have their own toy line, and that it can be anything they want it to be.